I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my life's journey, my health journey. But top of it, I trust you're doing well. As you can see, I'm getting it in. But yo, life is a fight. But it's all about how you fight it and what you're fighting for. And throughout it all, you know what I'm saying, your ups and your downs, never forget to dance. That represents what you enjoy, you know, what you derive and get pleasure from. But I said I was going to share, you know what I'm saying, a little bit about myself to those you don't know. Because, you know, you may have picked up, especially if you read my bio on my page, that I'm plant-based. You know, love to work out, love to run. You know, you see, you know what I'm saying, I point people in the right direction of healthy, you know what I'm saying, quality supplements, vitamins, minerals, you know what I'm saying. But a lot of times, people will see where you at. You know what I'm saying? They'll see, you know, where you're currently at in your life. And you may, just like people see me, you know, you see me running, working out, eating as clean and drinking as clean, as healthy as I can, you know what I'm saying? But the reality is that if you're in a position right now where inside yourself you feel like you're sluggish, low energy, you know, you haven't been moving, haven't been working out, you know, probably, you know what I'm saying, on a couple of meds, you know, probably gained a few pounds. When you see people like me doing what we doing, it could encourage you, but it could also discourage you, because it may make you think about, you know what I'm saying, where you may want to be versus where you at. It depends on how you process the energy. So this video is me just letting you know, like, look, I haven't always been here. You know, now, growing up, you know, I could honestly say that I have always been physically active. But a lot of times we confuse, you know, push-ups here, little push-ups there, as total health. But it's not. You know, just because you lift a little weights, do some push-ups, you know, you may be a periodical person, you know, where you work out in spurts. That's what I used to be. But I was still living an unhealthy life. You know, I started smoking cigarettes when I was, say, 11 years old. So at 11 years old, I'm smoking cigarettes. I'm drinking beer. You know, I'm drinking liquor. You know, it's 11, 12, 13 years old. Yeah, you doing push-ups, I'm doing push-ups. You know, I'm lifting some weights. I wasn't running at the time, but I was active. I was an active kid. You know, I grew up outside. I didn't grow up hugging the house. You know, so there was a lot of running around. You know, basketball, football. You know, so, you know, you're young. I'm doing young activities, but your body tends to heal faster when you're younger. So I ended up smoking cigarettes from the age 11 to, say, 21. So all throughout my formative years, I was really trashing my body. You know what I'm saying? But I was still doing push-ups. Why? Because I grew up in a physical environment. That's what that was the temperature. You know, that was the atmosphere. So, you know, I never wanted to be the weakest link in the pack. You know, you grow up, you know, you got friends, you know, things like that. So we challenged each other. You know, we kept each other sharp, but it's a lot of information that we just didn't have at the time. So my message to you is, you know, you're not the only one that have trashed their body. I have trashed my body. Drinking 40s. I grew up drinking 40s. Mixing liquor with beer. Smoking cigarettes. Smoking Black and Milds. No, I wasn't doing Black and Milds. We didn't smoke that. Scratch that. It was called beaties. Like these Indian cigarettes. It's like a raw tobacco leaf with a pink string around it. You know what I'm saying? They doing Black Mild. I never did Black Mild. But what I'm saying is, even though I was doing push-ups, working out periodically, I still was, of course I ate meat at the time, a lot of fast food, clearly wasn't vegan, plant-based back then, but it was all unconscious. It was all unconscious, because what was it? Coping mechanisms. Coping mechanisms for whatever stress or discontent or whatever it was that was inside of us. We was looking to drink, smoke, speak for myself, drinking and smoking and becoming self-destructive and taking those energies and as a coping mechanism without realizing I'm hurting myself. So I grew up like that, you know, never really suffered no major, of course, you know, broke arm, broke bones, you know, being a boy, you know, and being a young man, you know, I did what young men do. You know, I broke bones, fractures, you know, but nothing too serious to the point where I was like incapacitated, taken out the game, you know. But as I got older, say 16, 17, 18, you know, I started feeling the effects of the cigarettes and the drinking. Okay? So, because of the fact that I had a physical, calisthenic, weights type upbringing, you know, shadow boxing, you know, throwing the hands, all of that kind of stuff, it was a bit of a balance. So, the physical part of me that wanted to be on point started coming into conflict with what I was doing to myself. Because my wind and my energy wasn't what I wanted it to be. And all of this was self-inflicted. See what I'm saying? So I say all that to say, that's when I started thinking about, you know what? I want to stop smoking. I want to stop this. But it was a thought. But I didn't do it right away. Just like a lot of y'all right now. You got things that you doing. You know it's hurting you. You can feel the negative effects of it. But whatever it is that's going on inside of your life, that's causing you to turn to these things, those are unresolved issues. So as long as those unresolved issues exist, and how you process it, and you rationalize the self-destructive behavior, which is an addiction, that's going to be your go-to without you even thinking about it. You see what I'm saying? So I say like 2 to 3 years from say 17, I say 3 to 4 years. I quit, I start again. I quit, I start again. Now I never was a everyday drinker. I was more of a social gatherer type. There's something going on, I wanted to get twisted. That was my idea of having a good time, hanging out and all that. You know, getting twisted, getting lifted, and all of that. Not really thinking about anything in context of what I was doing to my body or my health, because it just felt good. So that's what you're chasing. a feel-good moment at the expense of your health and well-being. Been there, done that. So, moving right along, I was still drinking occasionally, but like I said, I'd never been an alcoholic where I just had to have liquor and beer every day, all day. That never been me. But I was banging them cigarettes. So, alright. So, I say like around 21, I really got tired of it. I grew to the point where I didn't like how they smelled. You know, I'm going out, getting dressed, you know, putting on all of the cologne and all of that, but I'm still smoking cigarettes, and it just became a conflict of interest. So I grew within inside of my expectations of myself, my relationship with myself. That's the fight that I'm talking about. How I perceive myself and what I grew into came into conflict with my own behavior. So the behavior that was coming in conflict with how I perceive myself, how I wanted to feel, and what I wanted to be, something had to go. So I stopped smoking cigarettes in May of 2000, right? But seasons change, and I ended up in even greater adversity. You know what I'm saying? But I never start smoking again. Stop drinking. I haven't drank alcohol, liquor since, I say, 2000. Yeah, 2000. I had to say like summer 2000. That's the last time. In the context of social drinking. Right? Because I'm taking back control of my life. Of how I want to feel, where I want to be in myself. That's the fight, is what I'm talking about. Right? So, I was still eating meat, eating junk, sugar, all of that kind of stuff. But with inside of a situation of adversity, you know what I'm saying, of incarceration, of where I found myself to be, I say for the first 4 or 5 years, yeah, once again, banging out a lot of sugar, a lot of junk, you know, at the mercy of the options that were provided by the institutions. Nevertheless, not only was I physical coming up, we grew up with a balance of physical and mental, because we used to have bill sessions. We used to speak about uncommon things. We was attracted to uncommon information. We wanted to question life, history, environment, self-identity, and a lot of archaic information. So, because what good is a strong body with a weak mind? So, I eventually began to switch up how I ate based off of things that I was reading. You see? But my message really is to you is that regardless if we working out, if we're not putting the right things in our body, if we're not dealing with unresolved issues or whatever, whether it's you got anger issues, stress, whatever it is that's causing you to make decisions that are really giving you a temporary feel good or a temporary fix at the price of your vitality, your capability, your health, your strength, your endurance. You're just sabotaging your own self It's not making anything better. So, as time went on, I developed asthma in the institutions. Battled with that, I had to say, every bit of, 5, 8, 11 years. 8 on the inside, 3 on the outside. Finally kept fighting, looking for my answers, and it was environmental. Now when I look back, I was most likely dehydrated, mineral depleted. Even though I was working out and running, my body wasn't getting the nutrition that it needed. Compounded with poor air quality, poor ventilation, not enough access to fresh air outside, sunlight. So environment plays a very key part in the quality of our health as well. How do I know? Because I lived it. I saw the effects, the negative effects of what a poor environment could do to you or do to me. So I finally get off the asthma pump, 2016, through natural remedy. I haven't hit an asthma pump in 10 years come August. See what I'm saying? So life is a fight, people. It's all about how we fight, what we fighting for. What am I fighting for? A better quality of life at all times. You know, sustainability, maintenance. You know, it's a constant process. It's not something that I could just do sometimes. Now, your expectations of yourself may be different. But I just gave you a little bit of my history. I stopped eating chicken and beef in 2006. I was seeing guys having to take insulin every day, high blood pressure medicine, guys getting diagnosed with cancer, guys dropping dead in showers. You know, they getting found butt naked with heart attacks in showers. See what I'm saying? So it wasn't a real environment, and what I saw happening to other people who were smoking, drinking, popping pills, eating reckless, knocking off 10, 15, 20 honey buns, you know, a week with all the candy on it, all of the things that guys do when you locked up. So what we decide to do with the conditions, people be talking about, oh, I'm stressed, I'm this, I'm that. I'm like, look, I get it. I come up in stressful, volatile, hostile environments. But even in the midst of whatever it is you're going through, just like myself, I had every reason to give up. I had every reason to just lay down on the bunk and get a belly and say, oh, well, you know, I got to do this time, and, you know, life is this, life is that. But, like in my caption, life is a fight. It's all about how you fight it and what you fighting for. So if you really look at what I just communicated thus far, I've never been the weakest link. So regardless of the conditions that I found myself in, that was still my mindset. I never laid down. I never utilized or took the situation and used it as an excuse, right, to become a lesser version of myself. You see what I'm saying? That's a part of my health journey. So when you see me running and telling you about health, and all you're seeing is the byproduct of a lifelong fight, I can't define your fight for you. I'm not here to tell you like what to do. I can't tell grown people what to do. What I can do, I could be a living example and tell you like, yo, I understand. I know what hard times is. I know what it is to be without. I know what it is to be trapped, to have potential and can't exercise it to the fullest. I know what it is to have to sit down. I know what it is to have to sit still for a long time. But you know what else I know? Regardless of the situation, we still got choices when it comes down to how will we respond to the adversity. You either gonna lay down to it, or you gonna lock in. You gonna take an account of yourself, regardless of whatever's going on around you. It's all about what's going on inside you. That's what's going to determine. That's what's going to determine what your outcome is going to be. Because see, life don't care nothing about you giving up on yourself. Just because you lost this, or this happened, or that happened, or you ain't where you want to be, or whatever. That's the test. That's the fight. Because you may very well take an L. But what are you going to do from that point? Are you going to give up, lay down, and give in? A lot of people do. A lot of people don't. That's a choice that we each have to make. So it's just like I'm running right now, right? By the time I get to my 5th or 6th mile or whatever, a person that see me at that moment, they don't know how far I've come, or what I've been through, or how I had to get to the point of where I'm at. All they know is they see me right there, or right here. Same thing with you. Because everybody's fight is different. Everybody's obstacles that we got to overcome is different, because it's through our own choices and how we weigh life, and the things we choose to do, and the people that we choose to deal with. There's a whole lot of combinations of things that help to create our individual lives. So we're going to create different types of scenarios. But regardless of where we find ourselves, win, lose, or draw, fam, you got to take care of you. No matter what. No matter what. That's the fight. Now the dance is, a lot of people like, yo, you know, it hurt when I work out. It hurt. You got to take a lot of discipline. Or it costs this or whatever. But when you get diabetes and got to get on dialysis, and they got to cut your leg off, and they got to cut your foot off, or they got to run catheters all through your veins, when you got to do chemo, when you got to re-up on prescription medicines, when you got to get surgery after surgery, when you got to take time out of work to recover, right? Right? You still gonna pay a price. That's what I'm saying to you. You could choose this kind of pain or whatever kind of pain that's gonna build you, preserve you, sustain you. You know what I'm saying? Build you. Because you're going to go through pain regardless. It's all about what you choose and how you choose it. See what I'm saying? I'd rather go through the pain that's going to build me, rather than to pursue quick fixes, temporary feel-goods, right? At the expense of longevity and me being my best self. But I had to grow into that. I had to grow into that. That's what I'm telling you. Because they be like, oh, he's a health fanatic. He's this, he's that. Right? That's your lower self and insecurity speaking right there through you, because you may not be where you want to be. Why? Because it's how you choosing to fight. You're giving way to excuses. And instead of doing the self-work, you'll sit there and compare yourself to somebody else and what somebody else is doing. You'll question why they doing what they doing. And it may look easy to you, what you see other people doing. It may look fluid. But you got to ask yourself, how did that person get to the point where they're able to do that? You know how they got to the point? Because they didn't allow life to make them ball up and fold up. They fought back. That's what I did. That's how I'm able to get out here and do what I do. It's easy to me. That don't mean that it's not challenging. Why is it easy? Because I got to do it. Because why? That's how I'm built. You see what I'm saying? I'm built like that. How are you building yourself? You see what I'm saying? How are you fighting your fight? What are you fighting for? Are you being consistent? You see? But the dance is how I feel when I get through. Knowing that I'm 48, no surgeries throughout my adult life. No doctor have had to go inside of me and cut on me because of my own decisions. I'm grateful. But it's not an accident. It's not about hope and wishing. Once I have the ability to do and the will to do, the responsibility and the choice is up to me. What I do with my life force. You see what I'm saying? So, if I sit down and I lay down and say, oh, I'm 48, I'm in my middle age, I'm just going to take it easy. Then I'm going to get a gut like everybody else. I'm going to be pre-diabetic like everybody else that's doing that. Why? Because I'm not keeping my house up. This is my house right here. This is where my spirit dwells. Why would I stop doing? Why would you ever stop doing? I ain't going to add too much noise. Why would you stop doing what have already proven to work for you? See? Because this is about you, because I'm going to do me regardless. Why? Because I have decades, not of talking, posting, debating, no. Even when I was isolated, when nobody knew I existed, period, except for those that know me. When I was by myself in a cell, I was still doing me. Why? Because I love me to such a depth and a degree that what I do it for me. Because I got to answer to me. I got to live with me first and foremost. So if you're not committed to yourself, if you don't love yourself, because I had to grow to love myself more. That's what I'm telling you. I used to make excuses for why I was being a lesser me, because I wasn't ready to grow. That's what y'all doing now, those to whom it applies. But everybody got their own time. It's not up to me to decide when the next person want to do better for themselves. I can only control that for myself. I'm just here to let you know, like, look, I see what you're going through, but there's a better way. There are better options. But what I can't do for you people, I can't be ready for you. I can only be ready for me. So when you get ready for you, whether you listen to me, somebody else, I'm self-studied. When I say that, I'm a reader. I get the information, it resonates, I cross-reference it, but the only way that that information can become valid in my life is that I gotta take it and I gotta put it to use. I gotta weigh it up against the real day-to-day life platform. And I gotta see what comes from it. Because that's the only way that I'm gonna be able to know if that worked for me. Because everything don't work for everybody the same way. So I created myself a system and a regimen that have proven to work for me. And I've seen it work for others. This is my break-off point before I get back in the street. I'm gonna close out right here. I've taken young men in prison institutions, gave them the books, gave them the lessons that they didn't have before. Because everything is a mindset. They doubted themselves. There's a part of themselves that they had never tapped into before. I might say, hey, they might could do 200 sit-ups straight. I'd be like, let's do 500. Oh, I can't do that. I get down there with them and do something with them that they never did for themselves. And I saw how something else woke up inside of those young men. You see what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, you did 500? Let's do 750. Oh, man. But by the time I got them to 750 straight sit-ups, right? When I said, let's do 1,000, there was no fear. See, fear comes from what you're afraid to approach because there's a doubt in yourself. And that's what keeps you from trying. You see? And I might take them to 1,000, I did 1,150 straight sit-ups with young men. Some of them was older. A dude might be in his 50s or his 60s talking about, oh, my knees hurt. I was like, let's go ahead and do 500 straight squats. Let's rock that out. Let's work the pain out the knees. Oh man, I can't do that. The same people that told me that they couldn't do 500 straight squats, I took them to 750 straight squats. What am I saying? Don't talk to me about high blood pressure. Don't talk to me about no type 2 diabetes not being able to be defeated. Don't talk to me about this and about that. Because all I hear is, I'm afraid. I doubt myself. I don't believe that I can. That's all I'm hearing from you. You know why? Because I'm the barrier breaker. You see what I'm saying? I'm the barrier breaker. So the only thing I'm hearing from you when you telling me all these excuses about why you can't do this and why you can't do that is that all I hear is fear, doubt. You see what I'm saying? Fear and doubt comes from what? A lack of belief in yourself. A lack of belief in your own power. You see, I already done tried it and been tested and been proven to try that I'm true. Who? To myself. I'm not here to impress you or the next person. I've been doing this before. I didn't grow up with no social media. I've been doing this before social media even came about. I didn't know nothing about no social media. I'm merely using this because this is where everybody is at. So as a servant of the people that's coming to bring you answers, I'm going to come where you at. But I wasn't socialized by no social media. I was socialized through the trenches, where you got to get it how you live it. No matter what I say or do up here on this platform right here, it still can't prove me to be me inside of my mind and inside of my eyes. That's why I gotta come out here and I gotta get real money. I gotta prove to myself that what I think I could do, I could still do it. Cause other than that, then it's just a thought. What am I saying? Every day I got people from all over platforms sending me problems. This, that, this is going on. Look at this, look at that. Oh, look at this. That's doomsday scrolling, fam. A lot of the problems that people bring to my attention, I've already solved those problems inside of my own life. I already have set myself up in my mind and my way of life and how I live and my regimen and what I do and what I don't do, what I used to do, I don't do it no more. So a lot of the things and the threats and the problems and the things that you stressed over, they don't apply to me personally, because I'm already out the way of that. No matter what they doing with the food, this, that, whatever. It's more to self-defense than just martial arts, you going to the range, getting, you know, whatever kind of, locking your door, your car, putting alarms and cameras all over the place. You fortifying everything outside of yourself. But what about your thoughts every day? All of this defense, these defense measures and mechanisms that you're implementing, right, on the outside of you, but do you know what to choose? You see what I'm saying? Are you compromising your defenses from the inside out while you protecting yourself from the outside in from external threats? But are you a threat to yourself through your own decisions? I used to be. So even though I was on point outside of myself, there I was banging cigarettes, drinking Cisco, drinking 40s, staying up all night, running the street, doing all kinds of shit, right? Tearing myself down, taking away from my vitality. So while I'm looking for all the external threats, I was a threat to myself. I had to correct that. I chose to correct that. What about you? You wouldn't have to worry about carcinogens and because you would know how to detox. You wouldn't have to worry about the next company or this person or that or what they doing to the food supply, the water and this and that. If the same measures that you apply to protecting your car, protecting your house, life insurance, all of this, insurance on your car, deadbolt locks and all security alarm systems on your house, all of this right here, right? Codes on your apps, codes on your phone, codes all over. Everywhere you go, you got to type in a code. But you compromise your immune system every day. You won't do some push-ups. You won't take a walk. You won't stretch. You won't take quality vitamins. You won't do the things that you could do in order to fortify yourself from the inside, so you won't have to worry about all of the things that's going on inside the world, because you'll know that just like everything outside of you is secure, you have secured your mindset. You have increased your knowledge base. You have increased your knowledge and understanding of yourself on a biological unseen level. You know what your heart need every day. You know what your brain need every day. You know what your microbiome need every day. You know what your lungs need every day. You know what your kidneys need every day. You know how to balance your own hormones. You know you inside out to such a degree that now your choices and the knowledge that you have acquired, you can choose wisely and accurately and effectively and precisely what to do, what to put inside of you and what not to put inside of you. That's self-defense. You see what I'm saying? Self-defense don't got nothing to do with just guarding up against external threats in the environment. And then you go right there and compromise your own inner being, your community yourself. You got a whole universe inside of you. All of these organs and all of these systems have to work together as one in order to produce what? Homeostasis, balance. Your nervous system needs your car. Everything inside of you need each other in order for it to keep you up, keep you well. You see what I'm saying? And then nutrition is not enough. You still got to do exercise. Your skeletal system, your bone density. You need minerals every day. It's certain things, it's certain requisites that we have to have every day if we want to be our best self. That's my message to you today. The dance is how I feel when I get done. Performance, that vitality. Even though I'm pushing 50, I still feel like I'm in my 20s. You see what I'm saying? That's the goal. So I'd rather put in the work so I can feel how I feel, so I can keep doing what I do. You see what I'm saying? You're going to always have critics, fam. But what you do every day is what make you you. What you do the most, that's what defines your life. It's your brother. You know what I'm saying? That's a part of my journey. Don't think that I just popped up and just got here and you see me doing what I'm doing overnight. It took decades for me to get here. You see what I'm saying? And I'm looking forward to decades more, you know what I'm saying, to keep on doing what I do. I want the same thing for you, but you gotta want the same thing for yourself. Regardless of what's going on inside your life, always remember, you got a choice. And what choices you make, that's what really defines your real true character and state of being. It's not about what you make yourself out to look like and be to other people. Because one thing about it, you know you and what you doing when ain't nobody else looking and nobody else around. It's your brother. Fight your fight. Fight the good fight. So that way you can dance how you want to dance for as long as you want to dance and last as long as you want to last. I'm out of here. Let me finish what I started. Take care of yourselves. Y'all know my link is in the comments. If you want some quality supplements, get your health up on a nutritional level, plug in. You got any questions, drop them in the comments. And have yourself a powerful weekend. I'm out of here. Peace.